Hello. Hello. Everybody, it's 12:01 a.m. Central Time on the 23rd of November 2025. Now it's 12:02 a.m. Anyway, hope you're doing well. We've got a new format here for the live stream. My computer completely bombed out. I really thought I was done. Whoa, my phone's still on. Hold on. Wow, you guys are running a good 30 seconds behind live. Okay, that's okay. I've got a little delay turned on the stream. I think it's 5 seconds. And it takes 5 seconds probably to get to you and back to me. That being said, we are live on all three services that I use, which is Twitch, X, and YouTube. So we are here. And there is a little bit of seismic activity I could just quickly talk about. I mean, we have deep earthquakes that are starting to pop off. We're on day 10, well, now day 11 since the solar storm, and we were waiting all week for this to happen. Multiple deep earthquakes have popped off. We had a 60,000 foot high blast take place at Java over here in Indonesia, and we have multiple fives popping off now, but I'm more concerned with the deep earthquakes that are starting to take place. It took all week long. We were just sitting here waiting and waiting and waiting. So now that the deep earthquakes are striking, we watch for shallower, larger earthquakes. We're still watching Japan, but we took it down by a full magnitude and then two magnitudes. And here we are. I mean, we're at the end of day 10, 11. Japan has not been hit. In the last 11 days, no 6.0 or greater earthquakes at all on the whole planet. Now, I personally think they've been downgrading earthquakes to be less than 6.0, taking like mid-range sixes down to 5.7. The highest we went all week long was 5.7, and guess where it hit? Where we were watching in Japan. Then, yesterday, a new 5.7 struck up in Kamchatka on the north side, but so Japan got the biggest of the week so far this past week, but it was way under, two magnitudes under what I was looking for, and other people were even looking for higher. I saw some warnings of people like issuing warnings for megaquakes and so forth. Now, I didn't warn for a megaquake, but we were looking for Japan to take the next step up. It was currently at the upper 6 level. We were looking for it to take the next magnitude up, and instead, hush hush all week long. Now, the USGS says there's normally 3 or so 6.0s a week. So we've gone now 11 days without any. It's bizarre. So I tend to think that there was probably a flurry of sixes and they took them all down to fives. And they do that regularly. They'll take fives down to 4.9s, like 5.3, 5.4, 5.5. Take them down to 4.9 just to keep the 5.0 number low for the week, or even, I should say. And if they do that enough, they do it a few times a day with fives. They'll take fives down to 4.9s just so you don't have a whole bunch of fives on the feed for the week so that nobody sees an increase. They'll just take it down by a notch, And if you didn't know that, I mean, I'm not kidding. They really do that. So they do that with the fives, the sixes, the sevens. They even tried to do it to the 9.0 earthquake back in 2011 with Japan. They tried to take it down to 8.9. Did you guys know that? Well, I mean, they did. They downgraded the 9.0 down to 8.9, but Japan stuck to their guns and insisted it was a 9, and USGS actually had to recalculate their recalculation and bring it back up to 9.0 because they were the only ones that were trying to say it was an 8.9. Now, the reason they did that, I think, is because there was already a 9 in the 20th century, or, in the last 100 years, which was 1960. You can't have two 9s in the same 100-year time period, so you got to take one of them down to 8.9. You know what I mean? And that's what we're doing. It's kind of like a weatherman that would say that there's no rain coming and then some rain comes and they go out and dump out the rain gauge. That's what I think's been going on for the last 11 days. But I can't prove that. Again, I have to go with the earthquakes that are being reported. So again, I just distrust it when we get to 2 weeks without any 6.0s when we're all looking for an increase to happen and then all of a sudden nothing happens. That's even more bizarre to have them stop. But here we are on day 10 into 11 now, day 11, and a whole bunch of new deep earthquakes have taken place. So it could very well be that we really did stop for the last 10 or 11 days, which is super bizarre. I don't know why that would happen. But nonetheless, solar storm arrived. We waited a full 10 days, and now here we are with the pincushion of Earth. The deep earthquakes are raised high off the planet so you can see them easily. And we're now watching for shallower, larger earthquakes to develop very quickly and spread up, out, and away. Now, if we go up by 2 magnitudes, like let's say tomorrow I get back on and we're talking about an upper 7 that struck up at Japan. Okay, that's the earthquake we're looking for. It took a day longer than normal. But for forecasting purposes, when I'm looking for 10 days, it's 10 days. And if we don't get there, we have to figure out why. And I'm not going to be issuing any new forecast until we figure out where the energy went. It doesn't just disappear. All that air glow that came down, northern lights, southern lights, and so forth, 10 days ago, 11 days ago, that energy goes to the core and then comes back out as deep earthquake activity, then shallower, larger earthquake activity. Now, why it took a week for it to happen, for it to come back up? It's a good question. I don't have an answer for that yet. I intend to get one at some point, but I don't know. I guess I need an institute, and I'm not going to ask for any funding. I'll do it on my own dime, but yeah, going to need a team of experts to help me at this point. So we are streaming live, and the best you got right now is the live earthquakes and my analysis. Now, hey, check it out really quick. Did you guys know that we had 2 earthquakes over on the East Coast today that were pretty interesting, equidistantly spaced going up the East Coast? Check this out. 1.9, 1.8, 1.5, 2.0 separate earthquake struck. Now, these 2 earthquakes here are at interesting locations. This one down south at South Carolina, next to Joint Base Charleston, a bomber base for the military. A couple miles, maybe to the west. Then, this 1.8, a few hundred feet away, or maybe 1,000 feet away from Donald Trump's golf course, up in Bedminster, 1.8. Then a 1.5 up here in Quebec, in Canada. But these 2, again, I could get Google Earth open and we can go look it up at a separate time, but you guys are welcome to go pull the coordinates and put them in on Google Earth. You'll see it. It pulled you in right next to Bedminster, the golf course. Now, the Trump golf course got the biggest earthquake in the past 10 years for the whole East Coast. And that was a 5.0 earthquake last year. Right next to it, down below it, several kilometers down below. All the mainstream media ignored that it was at the Trump golf course. And this was a year ago. So, I mean, he wasn't president yet. So why they ignored it, I don't know. I was the only person to cover it and only alternative news person, whatever you want to call us, online to cover it or touch it. I told everybody, made videos on it, showed everybody over and over again. Not a peep from anybody anywhere the entire time. Up to now. Where's the news headlines? Mysterious earthquake striking below Trump's golf course. I mean, it would be a big news story, don't you think? Now, this is also the location where the mystery drones showed up. So, mystery drones, earthquakes down below the golf course. I'm calling it. It's a maglev train, 10 miles down. They're riding around the world in these things. They're like pneumatic tubes. You guys ever drive through the bank? Drive through and you put your check or whatever into this little tube, and then you close it and you press a button. It goes foomp, and it sucks it up and blows it over to the teller in the bank. Okay. Well, they have like a real fancy version of that goes like 10 million miles an hour. Real science term there. 10 million miles an hour. Real fast. And that may cause earthquakes. Also, an additional factor that can cause earthquakes is very low frequency. Just a system, like a radio system. So it could very well be that it's just very low frequency radio system, high power, on a military craft. Boom, earthquake. It can happen. We saw it out 10 years ago. We saw it out in the middle of the Pacific when Obama would go take his vacations out in Hawaii. When he would land and when he would take off, mystery earthquakes start striking out here at the edge of the Hawaiian island chain, 6s and 7s. So if it's a seismically prone area, the VLF system can precipitate earthquakes. I'm 100% positive on that. We got earthquakes up here in Washington State, next to the VLF antenna built into the mountaintops up here at Oso, Washington. Another spot where we get earthquakes next to a VLF station is down here at Exmouth, down in Australia, next to the VLF antennas there. So it does happen. Mother Nature is producing a very low frequency down in the plate. So it stands to reason that if you have a very low frequency down on the plate passing through, and then humans are generating a very low frequency, high power up on the surface, a scalar can form between the two waves. A scalar is just an area, but now, as Lieutenant Colonel Thomas Bearden told us, that area in between two waves, where two waves interact, you can get an interaction where energy increases at a distance in that area where the two waves combine. Interferometry can lead to a standing wave forming between the two waves if they're trapped in something. In this case, it would be the plate. But we're getting we're getting into Thomas Bearden and directed energy weapon lectures and stuff to try and understand what could go on naturally, how it could happen naturally, and then the human system is just on the surface. Again, a military truck parked outside with a VLF transmitter on it or something. And boom, you get an earthquake small down below. And of course, the more powerful the transmission, I think the bigger the earthquake could be precipitated up above where Mother Nature's wave is coming through. And it's obvious it's coming through. It's going up the coast. Up in Quebec, there's nothing but the edge of the craton. Now, there are huge sets of power lines next to these locations as well. And the power lines are also carrying a very low frequency, 60 hertz, 120. But mainly 60, and we're talking about in the power lines, the high voltage power lines. So hundreds of thousands of volts, and then God knows how many amps, and at 60 hertz, which is low frequency. Anyway, I get off to a deep end on the, no pun intended, on very low frequency. If you're not aware, new 5.1 struck at the edge of border of Myanmar, and then previously we had a 5.5 up at Bangladesh. I am looking for 5.0 level activity to strike over here. Sure hope I didn't get it wrong, because that's almost the exact distance. We're looking for a new 5 to pop off between these two sets of earthquakes here and here between Bangladesh and North Afghanistan. And back behind it all, in between these two, we got a 5. And it's the same distance. It literally is the same distance, down to maybe 100 miles distance apart between the two. So I'm still watching North India. We still have several days to go on that. Okay, so we are live. We are live. Oh, yeah, Greenland earthquake, I said earlier, if you guys caught that, but I haven't looked it up. It's in a fjord. In a fjord. They're on the edge of a mountain, on the edge of what could be a glacier. Imagery there is just jacked. So we're not even going to bother looking up Google Earth right now for that location. So far this past week, we did get one big geophysical event in that 7 to 10 day time period that we're watching. And it was in the West Pacific, and it was in the big open area where there's no earthquakes right now, which is in Java. 60,000 foot high blast. Mainstream media basically ignored it, except for overseas. It was a big deal for people in Indonesia and Malaysia, obviously. The pyroclastic flow actually killed a few people, from what I heard. Or severe injuries, again, but it was talking about fatalities, so. I don't know a number, but it was a big blast. I mean, on the fatalities. The blast size, 59 to 60,000 feet high, FL 590. That is a big blast. It was the biggest in months for the whole planet, and it took place in, 5-6 days after the arrival of the solar storm. And then we get a bunch of deep earthquakes hammering off down below the plates on all sides. Keep an eye out. Any more new volcanic blast I'll be back on, but I don't forecast volcanic eruptions. We just do the seismic on this channel. However, if we get a big blast in an area where we're looking for an earthquake, of course we will, chalk that up to the seismic wave, but not keeping a ledger or a scorecard or anything. We could go look up the earthquakes later, but I'm not doing that now. I'm just testing the format on YouTube now to see how the phone format looks. I know a lot of people watch on their phone or their device, and so the screen is usually elongated for most phones. And it does make a difference. It really does on how it looks. And the demand on my system is way less with two little screens instead of trying to do a full 1920 by 1080 HD. It's running into some problems trying to mix music, and it caused a full crash in my system. I thought I lost everything again. I thought somebody did it. You guys know I've been messed with beyond all belief, but start getting system crashes. I think somebody's doing it. Turns out System just can't handle it now. Like, have to upgrade again. Old man Dutch, 49 years old, in case you didn't know. 49. Turned 49 September 30th, so we are getting old. Been doing this for 15 to 16 years. My YouTube channel is older than some of my critics. For real. 2006. Right? Right. I've got videos older than some of my critics. Okay, there we go. This is perfect. This is perfect. Much love to all you guys. Please subscribe. If you like my content, please subscribe. I will upload a video on YouTube very soon, but not now. Again, it's like 12:17 a.m. Central Time on the 23rd. Maybe in the afternoon today, on Sunday, I will do a video and put it on YouTube in high definition. You guys can watch back full screen. It won't be this format that you're seeing here now. So we'll keep the live stream on, though. There won't be any music. There will be the ding of a bell if an earthquake strikes. So I'll leave the live stream on YouTube. I'll leave the live stream on Twitch and on X. Trying to reach everybody, guys. I know we can go to a few other services too, but I don't think I'm welcome there just because, like, you know. If you don't know, now you know. I think that's a Biggie Smalls lyric, and we could add something on. Okay, never mind. But I am keeping my sense of humor about me in these dire times that we're all in, I'm sure. Or are you just loving it right now? I don't know. I don't know where you are in life, but man, I'll tell you what. It all hit the fan for Duchess and I in the past couple weeks. Our beloved cat passed away. She was 18 years old. While my mom was 81 years old, in surgery. So while mom's in surgery, our cat passed away. It was this past week ever. So I'm recovering. But I'm an old man. So life sucks just anyways, even on a good day, like, okay. You guys are doing well, I'm sure, and you're probably doing better than we were or are. Yeah, we're getting better. My mom actually got out of surgery. She was fine after the surgery. So, well, I shouldn't say fine. She's recovering. But yeah, with the cat, it was just brutal, man. It was pretty quick too. It was like 2 days. She just started getting, when a cat gets older, it can either be a long drawn out process or very quick. And for luckily for us, it was very quick, and for her too. But it's brutal every time. Said to my wife, I go, we're getting so old, man. I go, I'm getting 50 years old, and the cats are freaking passing. I'm like, God, I hate the world. And then everything was going on online. Everybody's at each other's throats. I just couldn't take it. I turned it all off. Turned it all off and just started playing music. Went outside, watched leaves fall, watched skunks come up to our bird feeder at night. It's just, yeah, old man Dutch sitting outside alone crying. Break your heart, man. All right. Last thing you guys need to see or hear is Dutch crying, right? Like, I wish I could play music here on YouTube because, man, I would love to jam for you guys right now. We were doing some great music earlier. But instead, we're going to keep it quiet. And I will be around. If there's a big ding of a bell and a big earthquake hits while we're live here, I, of course, will jump back on and do a live update, record it all, so forth. What I'm saying here now will be recorded on YouTube, but it will be under my live section, which nobody checks. So I usually delete the live streams after a day or two. I mean, I could make money on them, I guess. I don't know. You have to put ads or something on them. I don't even know how that works on YouTube now. I think they just put them on there anyways, whether or not you choose to have them or not. Somebody makes money on YouTube. I will be around if you need me, though. So I'll be listening like a fireman. I'll be listening for the ding of the bell. And if it is anything over a 5, I am back in here at a moment's notice. Or if it's a 5 in a residential area or something, of course, I'll jump back on. Otherwise, the stream will run for several hours and it will just go kaput after a little while, or we get tired of doing it on all three services at once. Again, we're live on YouTube, Twitch, and X. I know a lot of people don't use X and a lot of people don't use Twitch. So Twitch is used by a majority younger crowd, just in general for Twitch. It's gaming normally. They do have a science section, and that's what I'm under. And X is more for political stuff, right? Like, and people that are just going to look at news of the day. And the other service is Facebook, has this weird thing about earthquakes in particular. So they are poo-pooing on earthquakes coverage on Facebook. Like they've put it in their rules that they only want USGS like information. And if you go over there and try and stream, like if I do, they put some big note on my thing, and X even does that sometimes. But if I'm doing forecasting, X kind of throws a fit too because they're still on this earthquakes can't be forecast, even though I put out the method how to do it. If you didn't know, not bragging, on my channel, top front and center, or at least down below, right at the below the header, there's how to forecast an earthquake. Step-by-step instructions for anybody to test and repeat to do their own forecasting or to test a method. And the method is pretty simple. Once you get it down, even teenagers, or even some kids, but certainly teenagers are able to do it. And then people who are astute, longtime viewers are able to do it. You don't need me to be here to do it for you. This past week is a surprise. There were so many other people that put out warnings for mega earthquakes, like they were warning for 8s and 9s and stuff. And I'm like, I thought Japan was going to go up by a magnitude, but here we are. I mean, if it goes up by tomorrow, then I'll come back and eat crow and say I wasn't wrong about being wrong. How many forecasters do you know who ever come back and say they got it wrong? You ever see a weather forecaster do it? Weather forecaster, never seen it. The Hurricane Center, they got the hurricane wrong last year, remember? Supposed to come up and make a turn, and instead it made a hard right and went right into Tampa. You remember that? It destroyed like Western Florida. People had no warning or 12 hours to get out of there because they were all told it was going to go in a completely different direction. 12 hours later, it hit Tampa or whatever on the west coast of Florida. It just annihilated the coast. And that's with something that they can observe, watch, and they were flying through. Right? Did they come back and say they were sorry? I swear I'm the only guy that does it. But it's true and honest, and you should do it. If you do forecasting and you get it wrong, you should come back and address it publicly. Whip yourself like those people. You see those people that like walk, I don't know what country, so there it is. They walk through and they whip their back as they're walking. That's going to be me, but the walk of shame is science. But that's okay. That's okay because, well, Dr. Phil said that's okay. That's okay. Other than that, I've never seen anybody do it. So, takes guts to get up and admit you're wrong and to figure out how you got it wrong and to come back so you don't do it wrong again. That's the other thing the hurricane forecasters don't seem to do. Did they ever toss out their models? The North American model. They toss it out yet? The European model. Did they toss it out yet? They're like either or, they're using both. Someday, there will be multiple earthquake models based upon what I'm showing you and telling you now, standing waves, direction of the wave, that sort of thing. And they will be able to use the different models to do accurate earthquake forecasting down to a very fine point, most likely better than hurricanes. And that would be really saying something. If they could get that down in the next 100 years, I'll be happy. Okay, so if you want to know how to do it, it's free to learn. There may be an ad on the video, maybe, but it's in text down below in the description. You don't even have to watch the video. You can literally read it and follow the directions. I'm going to make a pamphlet at some point. Yeah, I'm going to have printed materials at some point. Duchess is insisting that I do this. I'm going to make a pamphlet for kids and teenagers to be able to do it just in a step-by-step, quick, like small little brochure type printout that's one page folded over 3 times. It's that simple that you can learn the basics on earthquake forecasting in a pamphlet. So it's not hard. As much as getting it down to a region 200 miles within a magnitude. I think any of you could do it if you really needed to. Okay, I'm going to stop jabbering on. Much love. Peace out. Enjoy the view and listen for the ding of the bell. Yeah, we got the mall in the background. Sorry, we got Dutchsinse Mall going here. You get a nice view of the mall. It's not so bad. It's the vaporwave, a vaporwave theme mall. It's somewhat cringe, but It's okay. That's me. Yeah, it's a little busy, isn't it? Yeah, yeah, I know. I can turn it off. But we can just have a black background for the planet. I had the moving backgrounds on for a little bit of visual entertainment. Uh, I also have a nightclub background that we could turn on, but that requires music. Yeah, busy backgrounds don't work for a lot of people. I get it. Yeah, no need to complain, guys. I'm getting a little private message on the side. There you go. Here, watch. Oh, there. Simple. The click of a button. It's amazing. People on YouTube complain more. I just noticed that. It's good to be back, guys. Much love. Well, it looks like X just went off for some reason. I may have clicked something. I think I may have clicked something. It might be me there. I think I did. Dang it. Okay. I've got three streams running at once. I clicked the wrong button. All right. Well, X just dropped off. Wah wah. It's okay. There was like maybe 10 people watching on X. Okay. All right. 10 people cut out on X, but we're still live on Twitch and we're still live on YouTube. Okay. I'll see what I can do about getting X restarted, but I think I have to go on and open stuff up and kind of like rebuild it. Okay. All right. That's not terrible. It's not a terrible loss. 10 people watching on X. I like I said, X is more for political stuff. Getting science over on X, you know what I mean? It's just not going to work. Okie dokie. All right. I'll be back. Word up.